This is the Barbados Today afternoon news for Thursday, April 19. Thank you for joining us. I am Mary-Claire Williams. Our top story this afternoon, passengers traveling the Oistins to Speightstown route had a lucky escape this morning after the bus they were traveling in caught fire along Porters Road, St. James. The bus was being driven by Michael Harewood of the Transport Board when it burst into flames shortly before 6 o'clock. 15 passengers were on board at the time. Harewood recounted the experience to Barbados Today.
I was traveling along Porters, going towards Speightstown. Stopped at the bus pole, more or less, and some passengers in the bus alerted me that there was smoke coming from the back of the bus. Apparently, as soon as I got the passengers off the bus, I got out, took the fire extinguisher, went to the back. It was extinguished to a certain extent. Then the bus caught up again and exploded more or less. I heard an explosion, and it was engulfed in flames after that. Anyway, no one was hurt, and then the fire truck came and fully extinguished it.
So this is the first time that anything like this has happened to you while you were driving the bus?
Yes, so the first time in 27 years.
What was the reaction? What was the sense, the atmosphere on the bus when it started to burn?
More or less, seeing that the people were out of the bus, they just thanked me more or less for trying to get them out safely. Because people weren't like rushing and one another or anything like that already. Everybody did it in a most moderate kind of form, calm kind of form.
The Barbados Family Planning Association says it has suffered a major loss from last Saturday morning's fire on Bay Street. The BFPA's Executive Director, Anderson Langdon, told reporters this morning that the association provides over 76,000 services to individuals in need, and their ability to continue doing so has been severely impacted. It described the loss as a national emergency.
Some of those services are breast lump removals, prostate and cervical cancer screenings, our supports to schools in our school-based program, our screening for gender-based violence, and our adolescent young mothers program, which over 30 young persons we support. We also support other non-governmental organizations such as the Barbados National Organization of Disabilities, Equals, and SEED, as well as the Barbados Association of Endometriosis and PCOS. Additionally, we also, at this point, we're engaging in a rotation of Barbados Community College nursing students, which is an annual program that we support. All these services are priced to be especially affordable to those groups that are in the most need.
The way is now clear for Barbados and other Caribbean countries to receive humanitarian assistance from the Argentina-based White Helmets Commission. The commission falls under the Argentine Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and it was set up mainly to design and implement humanitarian assistance. Today, the president of the commission, Alejandro Daneri, signed a memorandum of understanding with the executive director of the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, Ronald Jackson. Jackson says the program has already started in Jamaica, and the MOU will allow it to be extended to the rest of the region.
Through Cascas Blancos, we see not just their impact worldwide in supporting states, but also their own competencies and experiences in advancing volunteerism around humanitarian processes. And so, as in true tradition of SEDEMA, we seek to identify good practices and opportunities and to package these and model them and replicate them in our states based on the needs identified for our states.
Daneri, meanwhile, says the MOU also makes way for the establishment of a communication platform, among other things.
The project involved the use of a communication platform similar to the Skype for the virtual meeting, which will have a workshop methodology adapted to the scope of platform communications. Audiovisual materials will also develop for the presentation of conceptual aspects and for the presentation of management tools, and dialogue and participation instances will be open immediately after developed each of the three modules that the workshop contemplates. Through SEDIMA, we are pleased to invite all the countries to join this platform. We have talked with Director Jackson about the project Play and Learn with White Helmets, whose objective is to strengthen children's capacities in terms of disaster risk reduction through play activities.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Thank you for staying with us. We're back with news from the region. Guyana says it has received the assurance from Russia that the country's mining operations remain intact following the imposition of U.S. sanctions against Moscow. We get more in this report from HGP Nightly News.
The U.S. sanctions had raised some concerns locally about what implications Guyana might face as a result of those challenges. Opposition leader Barra Jagdeo had criticized the government last week for their silence on the matter and said that thousands of jobs are at stake. But Finance Minister Winston Jordan said things are under control. Mr. Jordan said Roussel wrote him on the matter.
And he says, Dear Minister, I'm pleased to let you know that Oldendorf Carriers Guyana Inc. informed BCGI management, that's there, that OCGI, which is Oldendorf, resumes its unloading and transshipping operations in Araremo and Kurubuko. Such a decision came after talks between Roussel and Egon Oldendorf Company, headquarters in Germany. Accordingly, BCGI resumes its full-scale mining and production activities. The company is still committed to its business and social engagements in Guyana.
From the new sanctions, Roussel saw its share price plummet after the company and co-owner Deripaska were targeted, prompting the producer to warn of potential debt defaults. While the Roussel issue is a cause for concern globally, the minister said the effects are not likely to be felt here.
Cuba's National Assembly this morning installed a new leader, ending nearly 60 years of rule by the Castro brothers. We get the details in this Reuters report.
The new leader, Miguel Diaz-Canel, is a Communist Party stalwart facing an uncertain future. Can he both preserve Cuban socialism while promoting change? Reuters correspondent Sarah Marsh is in Havana.
As a young party chief in his home province of Villa Clara in the 1990s, he bucked party orthodoxy by supporting a gay-friendly cultural centre, sporting long hair and listening to foreign rock music. Ultimately, though, he appears to be a consensus candidate handpicked by Raul Castro, who has earned his trust by working his way up party ranks over the last 3 decades and by sticking to the party line on key political and economic issues.
Diaz-Canel takes power as Cuba's relationship with the United States takes a nosedive. President Donald Trump has reversed some of the measures aimed at détente begun under President Barack Obama. Washington has reduced the staffing at its Havana embassy to its lowest levels since the 1970s due to unexplained illnesses and hearing loss among its diplomats. Analysts don't expect Diaz-Canel will change Cuba's system of one-party rule, which censors much of its opposition. But there will be pressure on him to improve the economy, and lacking the clout of a Castro, Diaz-Canel's legitimacy will depend on whether or not he's able to improve Cubans' daily lives.
And finally, North Korea says it is committed to complete denuclearization of the North Korean peninsula, and the South Korean president says she is not seeking conditions as the U.S. vowed to maintain maximum pressure on Pyongyang. We get more in this Reuters report.
North Korea wants complete denuclearization, says the South's president. Moon Jae-in said Thursday that Pyongyang was attaching no conditions to the proposal and simply wants hostility against it to end, along with a guarantee of security. ditching nuclear weapons would meet a key US condition for a peace deal between the Koreas.
It would be a tremendous thing for North Korea.
At the moment, North and South are discussing an agreement that could officially end their state of war, which is still technically ongoing since the Korean War in the 50s never really ended. It was put on hold instead with a temporary armistice, which left the peninsula divided. That will likely be the main topic of discussion when Kim Jong-un meets Moon next week. But we have been here before, reports Reuters' Josh Smith.
This is something that both Koreas have discussed in the past. They have even issued joint agreements where they both declared their interest in ending the war officially. However, in the past, those have fallen apart. So if the two Koreas do agree to something similar this time around, then many people will be watching to see how this is different from past attempts that have frankly gone nowhere.
But what might actually replace the armistice is also in question. No one's confirmed what a new agreement might look like. And it would have to be signed off by everyone involved in the previous one. That includes the US under the UN and China, but not South Korea, which never signed it in the first place. And that makes it that much harder for Seoul to push through a peace deal.
And that's news this afternoon. Remember, there's more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and on Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also find us on Mix 96.9 FM. I am Marie Claire Williams. Good afternoon.